In today's episode, the January 1981 Mark II Ford Escort. Yes, I said that right. January 1981. Hello and welcome to Quarterlight. Now, if you're new to the show, Quarterlight is a car brochure channel looking at car brochures from around the world. Obviously today is no exception. And in fact, every Friday we look at Fords. So if you are interested in Fords, there's always lots of content for you. We call that Ford Friday. Anyway, let's get on with it. Yeah, I said January 1981 Mark II Ford Escort. I can see some of you scratching your heads. Surely not. Well, we're looking at a car brochure from Australia. So let's get straight on with it. Have a look at the front cover. So here is the brochure. It quite simply says Ford Cars, Ford Car Catalogue, January 1981. So in fact, this is the full range of Ford cars for Australia. So we are starting a new series today. First one up, of course, is the Escort, but the front cover actually shows a Ford Cortina. Well, it's actually a GL with the S-Pack on it, but apologise, it is a bit of a moody shot. And then it goes on to show, there we see Ford Sales Company of Australia Limited. And there we see it is printed in January 1981. And there is our Australia address. So Ford Motor Company of Australia Limited, Ford Sales Company of Australia Limited, 1735 Sydney Road, Campbellfield, Victoria, 3061. And our lovely Ford badge, of course. So just turning back to the front cover, so we're not new to actually showing these all-range brochures from Australia. This time last year we looked at the all-range brochure for Ford for August 79, and then the year before that we looked at the Ford Cars all-model catalogue for November 78. So, you know, there are lots of Australia Ford content, and actually indeed other Australian cars in the channel. But like I say, we're sticking with January 1981 today, and we're certainly surprised when we turn to the first page. The first model in the range is still the Mark II Ford Escort, even as late as this. Of course, we know in Britain at this time, and in fact in Europe, by this stage, we've now got the Mark III Ford Escort. The Mark III Ford Escorts arrived in September 1980 in Europe, so we're already possibly buying some of these by this stage. Of course, front wheel drive, so it's a big change over the Mark II. However, and to be fair, it wasn't soon after where the rest of the world followed and ended production. Production actually ended in Britain in August 1980. But yeah, it did linger on a little bit longer in Australia. Trying to think of the date now. I believe March 1981 was when the replacement for the Mark II Ford Escort arrived. And actually, it wasn't our Mark III Ford Escort. Ford of Australia went a slightly different route and started selling something called the Ford Laser in March 1981. Built under license from Mazda, kind of like related to a Mazda 323. Sadly, I don't have a brochure actually for an early Ford Laser. Certainly something I'll have to keep an eye out for. But yeah, kind of like Ford kind of like parted its ways with these European Escorts at this stage. So this is certainly the last throw of the dice for the Mark II Ford Escort. So what we'll do today, we'll certainly have a look at the range, how it kind of like ended. So let's get on with it. I'm going to zoom in on this first image. We'll probably end up going over here somewhere and ending there. Then we'll look at the rest of the range. So it starts by giving the heading Ford Escort, Ford's European Formula small car. And then moving down, we've got this rather lovely image of a Ford Escort L. Four-door version, as we can see, in a lovely shade of yellow. I always like yellow for Ford Escort Mark IIs for whatever reason. We'll certainly notice just one door mirror, but the one door mirror on this particular model, we can see it's colour coordinated. Australia certainly had this more sort of modern door mirror, and we'll notice the seats. We've always got head restraints because we've had to have head restraints for some time actually in Australia by this stage, so a different seat as well. We'll have a look at the text and see what it says about the L, and we'll also note that it's a 1.6. So the Ford Escort 1.6 L sedan, economy and style in classic harmony. Here is European style, flair and features to make driving a real pleasure in a choice of 2 or 4-door models. Escort L is powered by an economical 1.6 litre cross-floor engine that's equal at home, around town or on the open highway. The power is matched to a 4-speed floor shift transmission that's great to handle. Your comfort is taken care of with reclining front bucket seats, carpet and directional ventilation. And then it gives you some of the standard equipment for the L. So we get that 1.6 litre cross-flow 4-cylinder engine, 4-speed manual floor shift transmission, power-assisted front disc brakes, styled steel road wheels, 155 SR13 radial ply tyres, reclining front bucket seats with vinyl upholstery, inertia reel front seat belts, prismatic day-night interior rear view mirror, directional power boost ventilation, 2-speed heater demister with illuminated slide controls, 2-speed windscreen wipers and 2 jet washers, steering column control stalks for turn, lane, chain signals, high-low beam, headlight flashers, horn control, flick wipe, windscreen washer wiper, parking and headlights. Carpeted passenger compartment floor, body side protection mouldings, styled right hand exterior rear view mirror, interior courtesy light operated by front doors, front passenger side parcel shelf, driver's side trinket tray, tinted rear window and hazard flashers. And then we get this rather nice sort of, I guess, university shot of a 2-door version of the Escort L, again with the 1.6. Notice all the models now have got those square headlights. Not sure what, is this a university? I'm assuming it's some university in Australia. But anyway, let's move on up the range. And moving up the range in the Australian Ford Escort range means moving up to a GL version, which at this time makes quite logical sense, doesn't it? I think we'll start with the text, where we'll learn we can have this as a 1.6 or a 2 litre, assuming that 2 litre comes from the Ford Cortina, so that would be certainly a nice model to own. So we can see we can have this as a 2 or a 4-door version. It says Ford Escort 1.6 GL and 2 litre GL, well appointed with European flair. It tells us available in 2 or 4-door form. There's even more to get excited about in Ford Escort GL. You have a choice of 1.6 litre and 2 litre models, in addition to a soft feel steering wheel, reclining front bucket seats and carpet. There's a handy centre console with an AM push button radio. Flick on the headlights and you'll make another discovery too. GL has rectangular quartz halogen headlights for brighter night driving. Among other items are bumper rub strips for added protection and intermediate windscreen wipers. Whichever model you choose, it comes with a sporty 4-speed manual floor shift, or you can opt for the 3-speed T-bar automatic, available at extra cost, and you feel in control. With GL's responsive rack and pinion steering, radial ply tyres and power assisted front disc brakes. If you appreciate plenty of features with European style and flair, then the Ford Escort GL is your car. So the Ford Escort GL standard equipment highlights, as for the Escort L, but with the upgraded features of quartz halogen headlights and with these additional features which are not standard equipment on the Escort L. So we get an AM push button radio, electric rear window demister, soft feel steering wheel, intermittent windscreen wipers, styled remote control right hand rear view mirror, centre console, bumper rub strips, outboard passenger grab handles, cigarette lighter, luggage compartment light, There is a look at the interior with that soft feel steering wheel. There's no doubt that it is still an extremely basic model. We don't get a rev counter, do we? Have a look inside the boot though. This is the GL, this time in yellow. Gives you an idea how that spur wheel is located. I think the seats and the door cards certainly do lift the Australian Ford Escort though. And then we get this image, which I've kind of like zoomed in just because it's such a poor image actually. But here is the Escort GL in gold. Let's see if I can zoom out without making it too blurry for you. There we go, a bit of a nice rubbing strip going down the side, and another look at those door mirrors, which certainly look unusual from a European point of view anyway. Certainly looks more modern looking mirror anyway than what we got in Europe. And I hope you don't mind me at this point just saying, if you're not already subscribed, please do consider doing that. It is completely free, helps the channel, but more importantly keeps you in touch with the channel. Anyway, let's move up the range. And then that takes us up to the car you always aspired to own, the Ford Escort 2-litre Ghia. So nice to see a Ghia model. Wheels on these look extremely nice actually, and then we've moved away from bucket seats to get this more conventional headrest design. But we'll start with the interior picture and then we'll move down to see what you get. There is a look at the interior, and the Ghia model always seemed like a big jump up, didn't it? Certainly really like those seats, and we can just about make out that this is the T-bar automatic, which would have been an optional extra. We can also get a bit of a glimpse at some wood on that dashboard. Anyway, let's read about it, see what features you got. So the Ford Escort 2-litre Ghia, so it looks like we can only get this as a 2-litre. Just about everything you can think of in a small car has been thought of, with seating upholstered in imported cloth, timber veneered dash, tinted side and rear windows, interior quietness, full alloy road wheels with exhilarating performance from its 2-litre overhead cam engine. Escort Ghia is a car that has been sat in and driven to be fully appreciated. Continues to tell us Ford Escort Ghia standard equipment highlights, as for the 2-litre GL, but with these different and or upgraded features. Full alloy road wheels. Straight away we get those alloy road wheels as standard on your Ghia. In Europe, certainly Ford were not that keen to put alloy wheels as standard on anything, to be honest with you. It was usually an optional extra. But anyway, ZR78S 13 steel belt radial ply tyres, carpeted kick pads on doors, imported Verona and cashmere cloth seat upholstery, dual tone horn, tinted band laminated windscreen, carpeted floor in luggage compartment, cut pile carpet on passenger compartment floor, and with these additional features which are not standard equipment on the GL. Tinted side windows, electric clock, timber veneered fascia panel on dash, tachometer and trip meter, styled left hand exterior rear view mirror, vanity mirror in passenger sun visor, a vinyl roof and front and rear bumper overriders. And then a look at the dash, so we can see that wood veneer on the dashboard. Dash now does include a rev counter, as you can see, and it just seems like a huge jump up from the GL. All of a sudden looks like a more complete car somehow. And then the main image, sadly it does fall on the crease, but it is a lovely example. We can see those overriders on the front bumpers, those alloy wheels which really do look good, and like I say, surprising that was standard piece of kit. See those door mirrors now on both doors, and it is black so it's hard to make it out, but it has got a vinyl roof on there which looks really nice. Not sure, a black car in Australia without air conditioning may not have been the most smartest choice, but it certainly does look very good. Anyway, we can go up the range, or we can go to a more sporty model at least, and move up to the collectible Ford Escort RS 2000. I think this time we'll start with the text, see what this is all about, and then we'll come back to these rather lovely images. Ford Escort RS2000 street legal, it says. Not sure why it felt the need to actually write that on there, as if it wasn't, I'm sure it wouldn't be in the brochure. But anyway, ease into the cloth shield seats. Look around, it's all there. Tacho, oil pressure gauge, free spoke sports wheel, short floor shift, grab handle, electric rear window demist, AM push button radio. Turn the key, a 2-litre OHC engine comes alive. Feel it respond, tight sport suspension, steel road wheels, ZR70S 13 steel belted radials, front power discs, handling and performance to match. From twin headlights to boot spoiler, it's set to go. Note: the Australian RS2000 differs from the European model in engine and other specifications. The engine is modified for Australian design ruled compliance, and the suspension has been developed for Australian conditions. So I guess the suspension more set for rougher roads, I would imagine, and I believe the engine was a bit detuned from the European examples. He goes and tells Ford Escort RS2000 standard equipment highlights: 2-litre overhead cam, 4-cylinder engine, 4-speed manual floor shift transmission, short floor gear shift, power assisted front disc brakes, sports suspension, styled steel road wheels, ZR70S 13 steel belt radial ply tyres, high back shield reclining front buckets, front and rear seats faced in black Beta Plus cloth, sports steering wheel, sports instrumentation including tachometer and oil pressure gauge, AM push button radio, centre console, 2-speed windscreen wiper and flick wipe, remote control black right hand exterior rear view mirror, black left hand exterior rear view mirror, hazard flashers, cigarette lighter, glove box, outboard passenger grab handle, rim front end incorporated spoiler, black deck lid spoiler, blackout treatment on rear bumper and quarter extensions, rocker panel, window frames, B-pillar and door handles, twin quartz halogen headlights, standout striping and mark decals, available in 2 and 4-door models with a choice of 5 bold colours. So there is a look on the interior and those interesting seats with head restraints. Look at that sports steering wheel and the slightly different instrumentation. And then the model itself, which does of course look fantastic. Interesting wheels actually. I'm going to zoom in those alloy wheels, which certainly look, well, they're not alloy, are they? They're steel wheels. So yeah, very interesting looking steel wheel. Actually, they can't be steel wheels. We might come back to that in a moment. Yeah, it certainly is an attractive looking car. There we go. There's Australian wing mirrors again. A little bit of an unusual design. Sorry for the camera moving a little bit there. So yeah, painted in black this time. It's certainly a nice looking car. It looks fantastic in orange. The notes do say though that this particular model has got the optional Volante Sports alloy road wheels and laminated windscreen available at extra cost. So yeah, certainly an unusual alloy wheel. So that takes us to the end of the main range of Ford Escorts for Australia. But then there is also packs, so we can get the fashion pack and the sports pack. And then because we didn't get a Escort estate or wagon in Australia, vans were the thing, so a normal van and a van with windows, but we'll come back to that. We'll start with the fashion pack, I think. So the Ford Escort GL fashion pack, hold it, lovely, click, click, click. That's super. That's the Escort GL fashion pack. Designed to turn heads, the GL fashion pack includes striped cloth seat facings, styled left-hand exterior rear view mirror, colour-keyed body side tape stripe, vanity mirror in passenger sun visor, bright centre wheel centre piece and chrome wheel nuts, electric clock. All these features are additional to the Ford Escort GL equipment, of course, available at extra cost. Seats themselves look very unusual. Look at those seats. I quite like them. and the car itself in yellow. So that would certainly make an interesting, more unique model of the GL. But that's not all. You can get this, the sports pack, to make your L or GL look a bit more sporty. So if you're looking for something special in a small car, check out the Escort sedan equipped with the sports pack. Sports pack includes these features: sport steering wheel, tachometer, black front spoiler, black front quarter bumpers, black window frames, black B-pillar, black rear bumper, black right-hand exterior mirror, black deck lid spoiler, and black door handles. Available at extra cost on the Escort L sedan and Escort GL sedan. So I tried to get in there as best I can. It's not the best quality picture. You can certainly see it's got some age marks on the picture as well. But this is the Escort 2-litre GL with that sports pack. Takes away those lovely chrome bumpers, unfortunately. But yeah, again, an interesting pack you could get. So that takes us to the vans. So the Ford Escort L and GL vans, a great capacity for work. Ford Escort L van, standard equipment highlights: 1.6 litre cross-flow 4-cylinder engine, 4-speed manual floor shift transmission, power assisted front disc brakes, styled steel road wheels, Y78L 13 cross-ply tyres, front bucket seats with vinyl upholstery, outboard inertia reel front seat belts, prismatic day-night interior rearview mirror, directional power boosted ventilation, 2-speed heater demister with illuminated slide controls, 2-speed windscreen wipers and 2 jet washers, steering column control stalks for turn lane chain signals, high-low beam, headlight flashers, horn control, flick wiper, windscreen wiper washer, parking and headlights, styled right and left-hand exterior rearview mirror. Interior courtesy light operated by front doors, front passenger side parcel shelf, driver's side trinket tray, hazard flashers, rubber floor mat in passenger compartments, and then we get the Ford Escort GL van standard equipment highlights, as for the Escort L van, but with these additional features which are not standard on the Escort L: quartz halogen headlights, AM push button radio, centre console, cigarette lighter, illuminated, bumper rub strips, 155 SR13 radial ply tyres, loop pile carpeting in passenger compartment, rear load area rubber mat, rear load area headlining, and van side glass. So there is a look at the Escort L van. And then the GL version with these interesting rear windows. Now, there once been seats in the back there, but I don't know if anyone ever, there's any sort of conversions out there, or anyone ever fitted rear seats. But I guess that would have made an alternative to the fact that you couldn't actually get the estate or wagon version in Australia. And then, of course, you get the rather wonderful Ford Escort Sundowner van, which I always think looks absolutely fantastic. Certainly a car of its time, or a van of its time, I should say. We'll look at these in more detail another time, though, when we're looking at the special Ford vans later in the series. So moving to the options, and sorry, it is tiny writing in the options in this particular brochure, but I'll read out as much as I can. So you can get something called convenience equipment, so you can get integrated air conditioning in your Escort as an option on your GL sedan, GL van, and your Sundowner van, and also on your Escort Ghia. So I guess, you kind of like needed air conditioning in Australia, really, didn't you? So nice to see there were options on some of the models. AM radio stereo cassette was an option on your GL sedan and your Escort Ghia, and also your RS2000. And then you can get your various sports equipment like the sports pack, which we already looked at and talked about. Other options of tinted band, laminated windscreen, long range driving lights, sports handling suspension, Volante sports alloy road wheels, and a black front spoiler. Various options depending on what model you got. The appearance equipment, we saw that fashion pack. Again, we've talked about that. We could get things like metallic paint, What else can we get? Van side glass and delete van side glass. So I guess on your GL van you could actually option it to be deleted to have that glass on there. Your various engine options that you can actually go for. For example, you could put a 3-speed T-bar automatic on your GL van if you wanted. So various different things depending on what model you got. I'm not going to go through all that though. You got tyre availability variously. And then you got your engine specifications. So the 1.6 was actually a 1598cc engine, maximum power 61 horsepower at 5,000 RPM, maximum torque 81 pound-foot at 2,500 RPM, and then the 2-litre version, which was 1998cc, 94 horsepower at 5,200 RPM, 109 pound-foot of torque at 3,800 RPM. So yeah, specifications, only tiny writings, hard to make it all out there for a camera, but if there's any specific questions, certainly ask them in the comments. Next week, fine-tuned and re-engineered to beat the best, the new Ford Cortina 4. So there we go, that just about wraps today's episode of a very late Ford Escort Mk2 in this Australia brochure. Of course, this is going to be a series, so next week I'm looking forward to having a look at the Ford Cortinas in Australia. Thank you so much for watching today. Please jot any comments, interest, notes, experience in the comments. I always love reading people's personal experiences with these cars, so certainly if you owned an Escort in Australia, let me know how you got on. In the UK, rust was a major issue for the Mk2 Escort, but pretty much any sort of 70s cars had some kind of rust issue. Of course, in Australia, warmer climate, maybe they lasted a little bit better. But thank you so much for watching today. We'll end as we always do by saying, please do consider subscribing. It is all completely free and helps you find lovely episodes like this one. You can actually become a member as well for a very small fee each month. That's there really to support the channel and help us grow. But thank you so much to everyone who has subscribed so far, and thank you so much to everyone who has become a member. That really does help. But anyway, I'll add a couple of boxes on here. One eventually will have the whole Australia series in a box down here somewhere, so eventually be able to see everything. But if you're the first watching this, the only episode will be the Ford Escort, of course. I'll also throw a random box on there for other episodes as well. But you can also go to YouTube and Quarterlight, and we've got over 600 videos out there for you to choose from. Thank you so much for watching. Please do take care. We'll see you very soon. All the best and goodbye.